Hello and welcome back to Stream Dreams, where each episode I will break down a different aspect to streaming, streamlining the entire process. Before we get into this episode, I want to stress that this podcast series is for people who want to make streaming a career rather than just a hobby. This episode is something a lot of people have asked for. There is so much information I can give you on this, however I do like to keep these short and punchy. So with that in mind, if I do mention anything that you want more details on, please reach out to me on any social media or even whilst I'm streaming and let me know. I'll happily send over any documents I discuss in this podcast or go into more detail. A good rule of thumb for trying to achieve monetary sponsorships, I have been told, is 100 viewers. As soon as you reach out first, you give them the power. However, I do think 98% of the listeners to this podcast will be nowhere near 100 concurrent viewers. So for the base of this episode, I will act as if the people are averaging around 10 to 30 viewers. I also want to state that the gap between 10 and 30 viewers is very large. I know people that get stuck at 20 concurrent viewers for months. It is hard to push it to 30, and then it's even harder to push to 40, and so on and so on. Back to working with brands. Albeit I said 100 viewers, that is mainly for monetary sponsors. You can still work with companies before money becomes a conversation, which is what I do. My main goal right now is building long relationships with companies that I admire and companies that I want to work with. When you start getting to 70 concurrent viewers, essentially Twitch partner numbers, you will be on some influencer managers' radars regardless. However, before that moment, it comes down to how you network. So let's say, for example, you're averaging 20 viewers, which is a lot, okay? Which is a lot, by the way. Imagine 20 people sitting listening to you. That's almost a classroom. However, it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. So it's good to know right off the bat that it's still hard and you will get declined from most companies. But if you know that already, do not set yourself up for disappointment. Give it your all when you reach out. I can't stress that enough. I'll take, for example, when I reached out to a company I wanted to work with, I reached out way back in October 2020. I just introduced myself and didn't even mention working together. I introduced who I was, what I wanted to do in this gaming space, and that I would love to touch base in a few months when my content is even further along. With that, you get one of three responses. 1, you get no reply. 2, you get a reply saying, we'll see where you are in a few months. Or 3, you get asked if you want to work. The thing is, you now have reached out to a company and given them everything they need to know. They also know you aren't emailing and being like, oh, give me this, give me that. You're providing a nice introduction to bring up later down the line. Now, what do you include in your email to them? It's a great question, but it's super simple. You know already that they have no idea who you are. They know you have a lot of competition, so they aren't expecting mind-blowing numbers, which leaves you with a lot of options. One thing I will say is, I said earlier, big yourself up. 20 concurrent viewers and the guts to reach out is more than most. A lot of people downplay, but you need to be able to sell yourself, and to sell yourself, you need to believe in yourself. But before I give you some things you can do, please make sure you always have an email accessible across every social media, preferably with your content creator name in it. But please, people drop the ball here massively. A lot of people do not have their email easily found. Now, first things first, make sure you're reaching out to companies you want to work with, not just every company. This should go without saying, but I thought I'd just say it anyway. With the main body of your email, I would include who you are, what your brand stands for, and what you are doing differently in this gaming space. This gives the company everything they need. As I said, they aren't going to be looking for huge numbers. They know you're not a huge content creator. Then what I would do is give them some analytics. All analytics can be found online, either through Twitch Tracker, Sully Gnome, or even your Twitch dashboard. If you wonder what I do, I have an Excel spreadsheet with every social media analytic and update at the end of every month. So as soon as it hits the last day of the month, I sit down and I go across all my social media and I put them all up. Twitch, YouTube is very easy to get because they have every single detail. TikTok, I believe, is the last 60 days, and Instagram, I believe, is the last 2 weeks. So you got to be on it. You got to be on it. If you look professional, you will be treated as such. So I would provide details for the last month, but include the change from the previous month. So for example, add a plus or minus depending on the stats. So put last month, April, concurrent viewers, 20, and then do a little brackets and do +2 if you were averaging 18 back in March. So now they have who you are, what you want to achieve, and your numbers, they have everything they need to work out whether or not they want to work with you. The beauty of this is you have left nothing to chance. You have done everything you can. I've also created a nice looking one page, which is just one page of everything about me, analytics, what I want, and all my goals and ideas. I recommend doing one of these two, as it's a simple thing and it shows that you're passionate about content creation and you're not just sending out an email, you've gone through all the hoops. You can then put in what you would like from that company, preferably on the second interaction. For example, if you wanted to work with Call of Duty, reach out and say you want to host a private match competition or a Warzone event, with prizes being in-game currency or being in real-life products. Want to work with a game company? Ask if they have any merch or any in-game items they can provide you to give away. I did a Twitter giveaway last year for Rainbow Six credits and got a lot of new people viewing my content. That was purely because I reached out, I introduced myself. 2 to 3 months later, I reached back out and said, hey, look, I want to do a Twitter giveaway. Can you give me some Rainbow Six credits to add to the Rainbow Six credits that I'm going to give? So I brought my own selection and I wanted to make it more of a giveaway. And they loved the idea, and then they sent me some codes. Whether it's the analytics spreadsheet or the one page, if you would like to see what I do, simply message me and I can show you. It is worth noting to not copy word for word or look for look, as influencer managers can tell because they would have probably potentially seen mine, or they've seen what I've done, for example. Or if I reach out to someone and they then, I've seen this one page before, and then they see that I also make tips and tricks for streaming, they're going to be a bit, Anyway, thank you for listening to my podcast about reaching out to sponsors. I will do more episodes depending on what I learn and what I find out, because as I always say, I'm still kind of learning to navigate in these back-end content creation waters. This is available on all podcast platforms, Spotify for example, as well as on YouTube. I stream 4 times a week, upload gaming content, and have 2 other podcasts. If you want to check anything I create out, please head over to www.intmaverick.com. Thank you for the support, and if I can do anything for you, please don't hesitate to ask.